This video is taking a lot longer than I wish it would, but there's been a lot of TV quality stuff on YouTube lately, and I want to talk about some of it. Now, the first thing you'll think of is probably Smiling Friends, but that actually aired on Adult Swim, so that doesn't count, but I still want to talk about it because there's some people behind it, namely Zach Hadel, also known as like Psychic Pebbles, and Michael Cusack with a definite Newgrounds influence. Now, Newgrounds is a bit before my time, but I grew up with a lot of stuff that came from it on YouTube. I'm not very familiar with Cusack's work, but Psychic Pebbles I definitely know as Zach on Only Plays. I actually have a talking plushie of him.
You realize I have your credit card information, right? I have all of your credit card information.
Let's say that's half a point on the merch meter. It's just a nice, funny, slice of life show about a business that makes people smile. There's a ton of cameos. Like, off the top of my head, Mike Stacklasa, Harry Partridge, Lyle Rath, even Gilbert Gottfried in one of his last roles. Chris Chan was originally going to be in it. There's even a pretty scary Halloween episode, which is also kind of funny because it aired all in one night in January. I love it. I also want to see more of Alan and Mr. Boss, though. They're probably my favorites. The Brazil episode was a roller coaster, and season 2 is on the way apparently, so that's good. Hopefully it didn't get caught up in the whole buyout thing. Also, there's actually a fan episode, an animatic from when the pilot was out, but season 1 itself didn't air. So that's pretty good. It's called The Last Resort. I'll put it in the description. Now, the first one that was actually on YouTube, I hadn't watched until now, but it's actually pretty good. It's Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. It's probably the most well known of these. It's a little bit weird because there's a pilot for Hazbin Hotel, so I'll talk about that first. But Helluva Boss is a straight up full series. So Hazbin Hotel is about basically the Disney princess of hell trying to make a hotel to like rehab people to like actually go to heaven. And obviously no one believes it'll work. And I'll have to see if it does because there's only the one episode. But season 1 does actually air this summer, so I'm really excited about that. Hazbin Hotel definitely has the more like complex animation, which is probably part of why it's just a pilot and there's a lot more of Helluva Boss. But it is very nicely animated, even if it's a little rough because it's a pilot. Some of the characters are pretty good. I want to see more of Alistair the radio demon and a Nifty like the maid thing. I like that sort of character. But there will be like a whole like pilot roundup in a bit. I want to talk about Helluva Boss more because I really like that. So Helluva Boss is about a struggling business of imps that assassinate people who those who went to hell have grudges with. Though that part of the show, I wish there was more of them actually going to the human world. A lot of it still just takes place in hell. One of the first things I noticed was the voice actors. Brandon Rogers plays Blitz, which I quite like Brandon Rogers. I still need to actually watch Magic Funhouse. And Blitz is great. Probably one of the best characters like in both of the shows. The second voice actor I noticed was Moxie, who's probably one of my other favorites. At first I thought it was the guy who played Yumulak from Solar Opposites, but it's actually the voice of Rasputin from Psychonauts, Richard Horvitz, which I'm surprised I didn't get that earlier. No, but yeah, I love that guy's voice. I also caught a Lyle Rath cameo in episode 2 of season 2. But speaking of voices, this series is also a musical, which I do not like musicals, but some of them are really good. It's mainly Stolas's songs. That guy has a really good voice. Truth Seekers is probably like the standout episode for me. Especially with the fight scene at the end. Season 2 is a little bit weaker, I'd say. Especially the latest episode, X's and O's. I don't really like that one. I didn't watch it on my rewatch. Which I did rewatch this just on my own, just because I really enjoyed it. Although the newest episode does have another really good fight scene at the end. I think it's just me. I know it's set in hell, but even for me, it's like a bit mean-spirited, which is dumb, I know. Though I am excited to see more of Moxie's dad, see where that goes. Apparently, season 1 of Hazbin Hotel is going to be on a streaming service, not YouTube, which I hope it's also on YouTube. I can't really be bothered. I mean, it took me till there was a screening and fan meet for me to watch Ashen's and the Polybius heist, so I am excited for the rest of season 2 of Helluva Boss, as well as the end of season 1, which is like a two-parter that we only have the first part of or something. This show loves its cliffhangers. Like half the episodes end on some sort of cliffhanger, and we seem to be getting a bit of a resolve to one of them. They just showed off a bit of episode 4 of season 2, so I think that's where I'm going to stop with this. Okay, this one's a bit hard to talk about, and it kind of doesn't count with what I'm talking about, but Aina, I absolutely love it, so I have to put it here. I'd recommend just watching it. It's only like 30 minutes long in total across like 3 episodes. The first one is just like a normal animated short, but the second and third are closer to like a long play of a weird old dungeon crawler. Sort of gives me old SMT1 vibes. The entire thing is a vaporwave nightmare, or closer to whatever comes after vaporwave. It's not really completely vaporwave, it's more of its own thing, but it's obviously very heavily inspired by vaporwave and that sort of stuff, which I love. I'm really excited for Dream Barbecue, which is the game he's making. I did buy the plushie, and I'm gonna play Broken Reality soon, which is basically a very similar to Aina, but more straight vaporwave. I did watch Vinny play the demo years back. Okay, next up is Murder Drones. It's by the people who made SMG4, which is kind of interesting. So there's a colony on exoplanet that through human error, all life goes extinct, leaving these worker drones just to fend for themselves alone. But the parent company that they worked for sends these murder drones to clean it up. And the murder drones are basically robot vampires. Starting with the animation, it's beautiful. Since the robots, there's no uncanny valley, which is pretty good for cheap, well, I say cheap CG animation. And since they're all robots, it can be super violent while still being allowed on YouTube. If it was about actual living things, it wouldn't be allowed on HBO, let alone YouTube. And despite that, they're very expressive, especially in the eyes. I really like the eye screens. I also love whenever the railgun fires, that's a really cool effect. The writing can be a little cringe sometimes, but in a way that's sort of probably intentional. Most of the time it's pretty good. It's not really a comedy, despite some decent sight gags. I'd call it more like action horror. Actually has some pretty good scares. The characters are all stock archetypes, but it works considering that they're robots trying to be human. So they're kind of regurgitating stuff that they've seen in movies. Like Uzi is the pretty standard angsty teenage goth girl archetype, but I love N. He's the best one, obviously. Completely innocent despite his murderousness. I even bought the figure of him. I always keep it on my desk now, and I kind of want to buy more of them. The music gives me some serious Deus Ex Human Revolution vibes, and if you know me, I love Deus Ex. Apparently they have Kevin Temmer Tunes working on it now. I saw it on his community page. Check him out. Right now there's 4 episodes, each with its own little brand of horror. Last one was Cabin Fever, which came out while writing this, and it left on quite an interesting note. Can't wait to see where it goes. Glitch Productions has a couple of other shows on their channel. I should probably watch them, though they don't really appeal to me as much as Murder Drones. Like, one of them's just about esports. There's also a couple more on Liam Vickers' personal channel. I should still probably give those a watch sometime. The rest of these are just pilots so far, so I don't have as much to say. So, first up is Lackadaisy, which is an adaptation of a comic strip that apparently has been going on since I was in kindergarten, so that's interesting. I might have to read that. And I looked on the website and there's 100 character bios, so if they're all going to be on the show, I'm very excited. So it's about the 1920s prohibition. There's a bar, everyone is a cat, and they need to get booze somehow. Starting with the animation, it is easily the best in this video. Although I noticed that sometimes characters still have the guidelines, although that might be intentional or that might just be the fur because they're cats. The character designs are all so good. One of them has either a modern pistol or that pistol is older. than I thought, which kind of confused me. That character, Mordecai, the black cat, is voiced by ProZD, and he's well-known voice actor guy on YouTube. They kind of remind me of Sonic characters in a good way. Not just that they're animal people. I get that's not at all what they were going for, but I make weird connections. I cannot imagine how long this took to make with how well this is animated, but I'm excited for more. Don't care how long it takes. Next up is Monkey Wrench by Gemerald, the guy most known for animating Joel clips. Vinesauce Joel. It's about bounty hunters in space, and it is very much inspired by Ren and Stimpy, stuff like that. That general era. The characters are good. I like Shrike, even if his voice is a bit stereotypical. His head thing where he pulls his gun out of his head is cool. I actually liked Beebs more the second time watching. First time he was just kind of there. So they're protecting this bird thing, and everyone else wants his way bigger bounty than what he's paying them. And that has a pretty funny payoff, so I'm not going to spoil it, including a pretty good fight scene at the end. Wouldn't expect that from a show like this. The side characters are really good too. The Bone Men, the Dinosaur Lady. Interested to see where Kara, the bunny thing, goes. Scratch the black cat guy. He's really good. He even had his own little cartoon promoting the Shrike plush, which I bought. Animation is really high quality, as expected from Gemerald. At least if the Joel stuff is anything to go by. It can be pretty funny, there's some nice music, but it's still just a pilot right now. There has been some streams of animating episode 2 and the Scratch cartoon, but not really anything I can dig into yet. Next up is a little one called Shave Your Head. Got this in my recommended while writing this. It only has less than 5,000 views right now. So this is pretty obscure, and it deserves to be way more well known. Pretty interesting art style, very animatic-like, including a pretty cool visual effect for drunkenness. The elevator pitch is basically Hot Topic BoJack Horseman, which I need to finish the last 2 seasons of BoJack. It has the animal people and the depression BoJack Horseman, but it's about a completely different sort of person, the sort of person who would probably go to Hot Topic, which I went to a Hot Topic recently. I get why they're popular. Or were popular. Characters are interesting so far. I love the ghost guy, JJ, I think. Right now there's a pilot, and the channel says there's going to be 10 episodes in full, as well as a short animation test that you're looking at probably. Now, before the final one, some honorable mentions. All of these, I either have too much to talk about or not enough to talk about. Harry Partridge, I love him, but he does shorts, not these full episodes, although I did do Aina. His recent Resident Evil parody was really funny. Bruva Alfabusa for getting me into and then out of Warhammer. Then making Hunter the Parenting and Zero Viscosity, both of which are masterpieces. But they're also fan theories, and I almost want to do a full video about it. Long Gone Gulch, which is a little western pilot, but I don't have much to say. Has a very early 2000s vibe, which is a thing I love. Reminds me of something you'd see on Teletoon, which I'm outing myself as a Canadian there. Satina, which is a pretty old one, about a guy named Dave and his daughter with the devil. Satina's very cute, but I don't have too much to say, and a lot of what are listed as episodes are like a minute and a half long. There was a teaser for season 1, which is what reminded me of it for this video, and Ethereal Snake. Specifically, the one about the post-apocalyptic DMV. I really love that one. He's the guy that did the Mickey and Goofy in Vietnam cartoon, which is also pretty weird and I like. So all of these were gems, but this one is the gemmiest. The Red Ape Family. What do you mean April Fools was weeks ago? Okay, but for real, on Zellig. This one is also a pilot, cut into 5, technically 6 parts. It was released over years, but I basically just found it. Not to mention, it's completely in Dutch. No English dub, but I'm a subs over dubs guy anyway. Unless it's Dragon Ball. And this actually makes me want to learn Dutch. It seems like a really nice language, at least spoken by these voice actresses. I believe it's English's closest cousin, too, so it will likely be a bit easier than something else. Although that's for another day. It's a relatable slice of life about 3 adopted sisters who have to do a history project very fast. Starting with Maya, who is literally me. I know that means something else, but calling her that is funny. Coco, who is innocent to a fault, and the star of the show, Mai the maniac racist. She is by far the best. And of course it's a history presentation, so you know where that's gonna go. This is probably the show that vibes the most with my humor, with both the embarrassing stories kind, as well as a lot of early internet edge, which I obviously love. It can be pretty clever, with the sly reference to the Belgian Congo, which is edgy. That's the sort of joke where you need to know about it. But there's also some just funny jokes like Mai's badly dyed hair, or Coco being bad with computers. The theme song, Ik ben het maar, or It's Only Me in English, is both really catchy and really sad, just like the show itself, because it does get kind of sad. I need more of this. And I will buy as many plushies as I need to make it happen. But I looked it up, there is no plushies. They do have a Dutch equivalent of a Patreon, but donations are paused, and I don't think I could donate anyway. Studio Massa, the guy behind it, does have a Discord, which I think I joined, although it's also in Dutch, but he has made some art of the characters at least, as well as some Dutch history videos, which seem to be a big thing he also does. I really hope we get more of the show someday. However, there is one fan project I haven't gone through. That comes from the place I discovered on Zellig, the Shardy. That's also another video someday, probably not. Presenting Half-Life Gemerald. If you're here for the cartoons, time to go. If you want to see a weird Half-Life mod, stay. Alright, I was halfway through recording this and it didn't really work, so I'm doing it over. I was gonna have a Sproke, but we're all out of Coke, so I just have Sprite. Okay, so I'm restarting.
Welcome to the HE Phoenix.
So yeah, so it's the island from picture. There's Mai. Which this part is kind of slow. But yeah, I just gotta get it on the boat. Oh, I thought I breathed it for a second. Okay, Sprite pick. Ooh. Yeah, so you have this, the Dutch area, obviously. Dutch houses, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. In the show, she was eating chips like this. I don't know how that works. Okay. So there's her shield. Okay, this, hopefully I do it better this time, because I didn't do it right. I'm already wasting my grenades. I keep aiming down sights. I think that's my problem. First death. Okay.
Automatic medical systems engaged. Morphine administered.
Morphine. Okay. Oh, nice. I'm playing on normal, so I still get stuff first aid. Ooh, this is actually pretty hard. Okay, so. Alright, I have to go in here. Yeah, these doors I don't think are working right. Oh, I don't have the grenade. grenades. There's the grenades. Oh, maybe they're over here? Yep.
Power 65%.
Yeah. So this playthrough isn't completely blind, but I'm doing better now. I have to get used to it again because I forgot how grenades work. If you aren't able to use them like that, you have to be standing still for them to go anywhere. Oh. Okay. Right there. No. Okay, hopefully they just killed themselves there. Yeah, this is... I recognize this gun basically from Cruelty Squad. I know it's like an actual thing, but I've been playing a lot of Cruelty Squad. Okay. Let's go. There's some guys in there, but I can't afford to. I don't think I can afford. I don't think there's actually any in this room. Oh, okay. Well, that's a lot smoother. So it's a lot of just like paintings on the wall. Switch. Oh, I think it automatically moves.
Loss detected.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is a lost woods situation. Yeah. Ugh. G-Man. Hang on. Oh, it just doesn't do anything. Yeah. Switch in this room. There. Yeah, that's funny. Because it's Mussolini, and because she has one of her as herself as Mao in the actual show, which I'll show right here. Hang on. Oh, I think I might have to fight. Nope. Okay. Yeah. That's from the show, and then they did it again, the Mussolini thing. That's funny. I don't know how much more of this there is, but it's the YouTube video says 10 minutes. I think the border gods are friendly. Even though they have the braces on. So, what is it? Oh, it's the tram. Ah, that's funny. It's not going very fast. Get right. Oh, yeah, don't jump. Windmill. This might actually be the... Oh. That was fun. Yeah. This could have been made in like 1999, and the only difference would be the characters. It's not very much on. It's very surface level. Like you can't really do a Half-Life mod about it. That's not just Half-Life. But yeah, I enjoyed that. That was fun. All right. This video is taking way too long to make. It's taken me like a month. Right. Gotta edit it. See ya.